The following video is less about plants and more about your life. It's a metaphor, people. Sam, hit him with the intro. Hello world, James here. A plant cannot grow bigger than the pot that it is placed in. That's pretty obvious. Not too long ago, I had to transplant my plants that were all in little pots like this into bigger pots like this. When I took out the plants from the smaller pot, I noticed that for many of them, the roots had started to circle around and follow the edges of the pot. They didn't have any more room to grow down and deep, so they just started to circle around themselves. Apparently, this is not healthy. I noticed that I was watering my plants a lot more frequently. The soil was getting dried out so quickly. The roots were soaking up all that water, and yet the plant wasn't growing any bigger, it just didn't have any more room. And if left unchecked, these circling roots will do what is called girdling, and they will literally start to circle around and choke off the stem or the trunk of the plant. It will literally suffocate any nutrients and water that are trying to disperse throughout the plant. Not a good look. So what do? Well, first, you get yourself a new pot, you set it up with some moist soil, and you excavate some of that soil so that there's room for the new plant to fit in. Then you take the plant and you carefully remove it from the old pot. Sometimes it's stuck in there, sometimes it doesn't want to come out. But you gingerly rock it out of place, and then you put it under a little bit of running water. This helps to moisten the soil, loosen everything up. Even with that, the roots are going to be very set and almost encrusted in their circular pattern. So you're going to have to gently yet forcefully break them apart. You need to break those old bonds and retrain the roots to start to grow downward again. If you don't do this step and you just throw it into the new pot, it doesn't matter how big that pot is, the roots are still going to circle around and continue causing the same problems, and the plants will stay stagnated. So once you break apart the roots, put them into the new pot, tuck them in, give them a little bit more water, and Bob's your uncle. You've just transplanted your plant, and now it's ready to grow and reach new heights. Pun intended. We all have different pots in our lives. I know for me, there are many pots that I have been stuck in for way too long. And my roots are starting to circle around and around themselves. And it hurts, it's uncomfortable, you know, but this is a good thing. It's just like when a hermit crab knows it's time to change and upgrade to a bigger shell because it starts to get too tight in its existing shell. So if you're starting to feel that kind of pain, that kind of discomfort, be grateful. This is a beautiful sign. This is life poking you, prodding you right in your ribs, telling you it's time to change. It's time to change that old relationship. It's time to drop that job that isn't serving you. It's time to get out of that small town that doesn't meet your needs anymore. It's time to grow. The problem is that changing pots can be scary because we are scared of the unknown. We like a comfort zone. Even though a comfort zone isn't always comfortable physically, mentally, or emotionally, it is predictable. And that gives us this sense of security, like we're still in control. You know exactly where the edges of that pot are, you know exactly how deep it goes, and so you just stick with the status quo. But if you're not growing and if you're feeling uncomfortable, you cannot keep yourself imprisoned in there any longer. It's time to take that leap, build up that little bit of courage, and rip yourself out. Your roots might keep you stuck in there. That's okay. Give a nudge, give a shake, but get yourself out of that pot. And before you transplant yourself into the bigger pot, you then have to do a little bit more work, and it can be a little bit painful, of uncircling your roots. They're kind of crusted together. This is your old way of being. These are your old ingrained habits. These things that you've been carrying around for years, and in some cases your entire life. It's time to break that apart. It's time to shake up and drop some of that old identity that's no longer serving you. This can be scary, this can be uncomfortable, but the reward is indescribable. You get yourself into the new pot, your roots are now loose and ready for growth, and they go deep, and then you start to expand. It is a beautiful moment when you do this for yourself. That is what this channel is all about. Step into your potential. It is about dropping the old things that aren't serving you and stepping into something more, reaching higher, pushing further. Doing that every day, even just a little bit, leads to incredible changes in the long run, and it feels so good. This is how you become more. This is how you step into a person that you didn't even know existed within you. All I can do is share my journey, where I've come from, where I'm at, what I'm growing towards, what's working and what's not working. And hopefully my story can relate to you somehow. Hopefully my story can show you something that maybe you didn't see for yourself yet, just as other stories have done for me. So that's what I'm doing on this channel, and I hope to catch you on the next one. And that is my first ever YouTube video. Did it do anything for you? Did it help you? Did it inspire you? Did it wake you up? If so, leave a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you're into that. Did my video piss you off or anger you, confuse you, make you upset? Go ahead, leave a thumbs down then. But if you do, please comment below why. Also in the comments below, tell me what small pots you feel stuck in. What roots do you think are contributing to that? I'll tell you, for me, for a very long time, my small pot has been my vocation and making money. I've kept myself playing small in there for a really long time. Some of my roots are self-doubt, not believing in myself, and perfectionism. This idea that everything I do has to be perfect and just right, otherwise I shouldn't do it at all. Perfect is the enemy of good. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I really, truly appreciate it. No plants were harmed during the making of this video. And until the next time, love, bliss, and consciousness.